That's a single cage car, which are great. They're much more comfy because then the driver's seat can actually go back and tilt, and you can just get more comfortable. But the only problem is when you have to try to get somebody in the car that doesn't want to go in, there's no way to go through the other side to pull them in. So some goods and bads about those.
We're gonna find you and you're gonna die.
My goodness.
No red team?
I guess.
It looks like they're taking off all their weapons to go into the jail. That's pretty normal. Usually you see them do it in the jail where there's like a gun locker and you can put your magazines and your pocket knife and your pepper spray and your taser. Any kind of weapon gets locked up. You can't go into the jail with it. Looks like these guys are just using the back of their squad.
Sounds like around at first.
Yeah.
So before you open the door, he's like pretty agitated.
He's starting to
now threatening to kill us.
I'll roll the weather down.
Dude, we gave him like a million times to not go for public intox, and then he like starts walking up on our sergeant, and we're like, really? Zach someone? He's got an ankle monitor on. He's on pretrial for arson 1.
I'll be sitting in jail.
He's not most happy fellow right now.
Some call that what? Oh, a little too gung-ho. Yeah, I'd say so.
And 1 count of felony obstruction. I've not been able to locate his records at the time of publishing, but I've submitted a records request, so make sure you're subscribed and I'll post an update when I can. The drug man was charged with interference with official acts and public intoxication. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any court records, but I have submitted a request for more information. Thank you for joining me on this video. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and let me know what you think. And don't forget, hit that bell notification
You're like
so you
Gonzo.
know when the latest video has dropped. And if you like police war stories, check out the Things Police See podcast, where I interview the men and women of law enforcement for about an hour and get their most intense, bizarre, and sometimes humorous moments on the job. Available everywhere you
How
get
do I
podcasts,
change
and there is a
the-
link in the notes to the YouTube channel.
How
Thanks,
fast the
guys,
phone
and I'll see you next time.
times out. It seems like it just times out too quickly.
We need to get rid of Susan Collins.
Or I'm
She
just
is
too
the
slow,
epitome
yeah.
of the establishment politician.
Well, you know, for like sometimes reading articles or something like that. Yeah, how do you make that longer? Like a minute. Like, it does like 10 seconds.
Who is cynical and duplicitous. Who is willing to say one thing and do another. We have to shed her from our politics. Quite frankly, we have to shed all the people like her. I'm Graham Platter, and I approve this message.
Pow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee
One
yay.
decision that I'm most proud of
I
is
need some
definitely signing
drums.
on
They had a pretty
to
good
go back
chant
to
going.
school, fulfilling a dream I didn't realize I had. You can do this. It doesn't matter what is happening in your life. This is a doable thing.
Donate some drums. I know they donate them for that, huh?
Arkansas is a state that often gets overlooked in the big scheme of things, but when it comes to policing, Arkansas State Police really handle business. If you decide to commit crimes, I'll tell you, Arkansas is not the place to do it. Don't run from the Arkansas State Police, because if you do, they're going to catch you. This is one of those.
No, this is Sergeant Curtis now. The one before was Sergeant Steve. Sergeant Steve, yeah, that's the one before this one. This is Curtis.
So I want you to take a look here. This
I just see that.
lights. Whatever's green or illuminated is what's active at the moment, and it's kind of interesting when you watch the videos
Wow,
to see
big
what
pythons.
is activated during whatever occurs. It's not in all the videos, but in some of them, when it's there, you should take a picture.
Not for real pythons. Florida's giant Burmese pythons are doing more than eating wildlife. They are transforming the Everglades.
On the person he observed that didn't have a seatbelt on. And not in every state can you stop a person just for the observation of the seatbelt. You stop them for speeding, they don't have a seatbelt on, then you can cite them. In other states, if you observe a person without a seatbelt, that's a primary violation, and you can stop them for that, but it's not every state. Slow rolling, he's not stopping.
Get them like this. Work on like this. Not stopping. Stop waiting, come over 4 out of BLM 428. 1037.
Really good.
Speed's 45. White, almost into traffic. Black male, white t-shirt.
Good job so far, calling out the speed, direction of travel, location, suspect description. Now, just take it to mind, our initial charge is no seatbelt, and we're at 45 miles per hour in a residential. You have to start asking instantly, should I continue this pursuit? Because you can see the speeds on the bottom, so you can see when brakes are applied. I'd like you to chime in whether you think this pursuit should continue. At this point, we now have an eluding, but again, it started from what was a seatbelt violation.
All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for the Dan Bongino Show.
Man, the pre-show here, I wish sometimes we would do more live studio audiences. You know, for security reasons, we have to be kind of careful now. However, I really want to do it because the pre-show, what happens before the show, sometimes is so much more enjoyable than even the first 5 minutes of the show. Today was kind of epic. By the way, a big thank you. Podcast rankings came out again from Triton. We're still in the top 5. So the calls for the end of the show from the bot army of Rage Bot, Life Loser Zero, sitting at home eating Hot Pockets in their basement. It's just not working. I'm sorry. It's every month it's like, well, we'll get them next time. It's not going to be a next time for you. Sorry. We're good. We're good. But we were talking before the show, and you know, we have some relatively new employees, not so new anymore, but Josh and Andy, and you have the old schoolers, Guy and Justin and Jasmine. And Josh just comes out. Now, P1's in the chat.
Makes sense.
Tell me what's wrong with the next statement, because I had to inform. When he said it, Guy was like, Guy gave him the look. Josh came out, we were talking about some Secret Service stories. And Josh says, hey, you were around the beast a lot. And Guy was like, oh my gosh, he just did it. He did the thing. And Justin's like, what's the thing? And Justin's like, it's the thing. Because Justin knows the thing and Guy knows the thing. Do P1s know the thing about the beast? Do you know the thing? The P1s know. It's okay. We forgave him. It's okay. You know, I was a transportation agent. I went back to the transportation section of the President's detail twice. So for those who are not P1s and new to the show, who just said it? Who just said it? Nick Laz, it's not the beast. We don't call it the beast. That's a media thing. Now, I gave up the argument because President Trump likes the name and used it. I get it. We don't call it that. Ever. However, Josh, you're forgiven. No big deal. P1s. It's funny how many of you know that. CP, GB, you guys, Vic T77, Vicky T777. You guys are great. See, you're the best audience in the business. That's why the show ain't going anywhere, man. Because we got a loyal cadre of people that really like being here. You know what? The feeling's mutual. I like being here too. One more thing. There we go. I Corona Flux. The beast is a thing. Listen to this thing. Well, you're part of the family. You guys know. You see how we just have like coded language? We have little shibboleths for the show, and you all know what they are. Amazing. Let me get to the spots in a second, but I aged myself this morning. I popped into the studio, and now that I'm 51, in December I'll be 52. I'm starting to like feel my age a little bit. I said to the guys this morning, I said, does this mean anything to you? In the chat, does this mean, I'm going to say no more, just does this mean anything to you or not? Who shot JR? And he was like, I have no idea. Justin's like, who's JR? Is it a video game or something? Guy in Star Wars? He's like, was it Boba Fett and Han Solo? Did I miss it at the, what is it, the Cancun Cantina, whatever the hell that thing is? Mos Eisley? Does that mean anything to you? If it does, you're probably 50 or a little bit older. Look it up. It was like the talk of the summer when it happened. Who shot JR? Honestly, I don't remember who did it. All I remember is everybody talking. I got a loaded show. It happened again. It happened again. When Dallas, yes, look at you. Yes. I love you guys and ladies in the chat. You know, it was like the talk of the summer on this TV show. Who shot this character, JR? I remember going to family parties. All everybody was talking about. In between, like, drinking butts and stuff at family parties. All I want to talk about. Who shot JR? It happened again yesterday. The Obama Presidential Library. If you want to see the modern Democrat Party summed up in one event, I'm not kidding. There are two types of Democrats now, and only two types. You got your shells like seashells, and you got your frauds. That's it. Yesterday, what happened at the Obama, what do they call that building, the garbage can opening? Sums it all up. I'll show you what I mean coming up in a second. Hey, many Americans try those weight loss shots, but they quit due to cost, side effects. Many just don't like injections. Instead, I use this product, Lean. I love it by Brickhouse. Sometimes these hosts, I don't know, they tell you something. I used it. I've lost 38 pounds, 40 pounds. I'm 198. I was 238. I chose Lean. Product works. No needles, no prescriptions. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Use code Dan for 20% off results. Very not FDA approved. Thank you, Brickhouse Nutrition. Today's show also brought to you by Native Path. You know I'm obsessed with nutrition and life hacks. I know this is largely a political show, but folks, people have changed my life, giving me good life advice, and I want to pass it on to you with life hacks. One of the biggest life hacks outside of sleep and a good diet and stuff you already know is collagen. Why should I take collagen? Gee, I don't know. You want your skin to be nice and thick. You want your wrinkles to go away. You want your joints to feel better. That's what it did for me. It did it for my mother-in-law as well. My mother-in-law was like, Dad, I need some, collagen. You know my health history. I don't mess with supplements unless it's helping my body every day. Paul and I have been talking about collagen for years. Collagen is the protein that helps hold your body together. It's like the glue. It's critical. After 30, our bodies lose 1 to 2% of collagen every year. Look it up. Taking supplemental collagen has helped me. I love this product. I've got bad elbows and joints. Collagen is amazing for helping me with the joint stiffness and the mobility. You want to look a little bit younger, it's been good for that too. It helps support muscles, especially if you exercise. It's great for helping with bone density. Paula can tell you how great collagen is for skin hair too. I got you over 45% off, not 4.5, 45% off, free shipping, and a 365-day money guarantee, money back guarantee. If you don't feel a real difference in your health, get your money back, no questions asked. Okay, how do I get it? You go to getnativepath.com/Dan. Getnativepath.com/Dan. Pick it up today. Products and statements of products.
My tablet's being really funny.
Cure or prevent any disease or condition. Consult with a healthcare professional. Thank you. All right, fellas, let's go. Sorry for the long opening, but it's Friday. You know I like the show to be a little bit lighter on Friday, but still informative. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not that Ben Bankers guy. I'm not a comedian. I'm not Dave Chappelle.
Now that I think
but
about it,
it is
the
Friday
TV
in the
sounded
summer,
kind
and we
of
enjoy
funny
having you
too.
here, so I want to always leave you at a good note. But it did happen again yesterday. Let's get the hard stuff out of the way. Obama opened this god-awful looking presidential library in Chicago. Library looks horrendous. I am not an architecture judge. I'm not. The first day I walked into the Hoover building at the FBI, I'm familiar with obviously the building, the iconic photos, but when you see it up close and personal, and the brutalist, ugly architecture, the exposed rebar, I'm like, can we get the hell out of this building? That's why we're moving down the block. The Obama,
Get out and
the
chase him
Obama
into an underworld
library,
and single-handedly
they must
take
have
him
looked at
into
the Hoover
custody.
building
However,
and
I
all
do
its
want to talk about
ugliness
something
and
that's
been like, yeah, we
becoming
need more of that.
important. The
It is
pursuit.
just
We saw
an
that this
ugly
ended in
building.
a traffic collision.
Dan,
Is
you
it
just don't like
worth it
Obama.
under
Of
those
course I don't like him. It's not
circumstances to
personal. I
continue to pursue a
protected
person
the
who's
guy.
driving in
I
that
just don't
reckless
like what he
manner?
did
Well,
to the
there are
country.
alternatives.
The
Maybe
building is
shut
just
down,
ugly,
hopefully
folks.
they slow
Even
down all
Democrats
the
are like,
areas,
it's
all the
pretty ugly.
units, but
What is
So
he
this
referring
event
to?
totally sums
That's a
up.
good question.
There are two kinds of Democrats out there right now, and only two.
So I think about
You have
that
your
as well as
shells.
Did you
families
ask
who
Whether
them?
it's
were
because of
just
some
driving
cognitive
through a
disorder,
green light at their speed limit,
whether
and
it's
someone
because
flagged
they're
them
just
100 miles per
dumb,
hour, it can
like
be
the AOC
catastrophic.
types, or they just don't read the news. They subscribe to all of these cancerous policies, defund the police, open board. There's the bill. Gosh, is this thing? Look at this thing. This is one of the ugliest buildings I have ever seen. It is just, what is that, a garbage can? I saw some video where like someone did a little meme like Oscar the Grouch jumping out of the top. Like, what the hell is going on with this thing? There are only two types of Democrats. You got your shells and you got your frauds, okay? That's it. There is no third type of Democrat. This event sums it up because we saw them both, okay? Let's put up Biden first. Why do you keep trotting this guy out? Folks, I really dislike what Joe Biden did to the country, obviously. But it's at the point now where this is like a constitutional violation for cruel and unusual punishment. Can you please stop trotting this obviously cognitively impaired man out to the public space? It's embarrassing. You're not helping him. You're not helping your party. So at the end of the ceremony at the garbage can opening yesterday, Biden's on stage and amazingly gets lost again, despite 1,000 people telling him where to go. And you'll see at the end of this, he takes off his glasses. He's like, "Where's my granddaughter? I don't know. Maybe backstage. Maybe stop standing on the stage looking puzzled." This is what a shell, example number one, looks like. The guy wasn't smart enough to realize the stupidity of socialism because he's losing. Check
Yeah,
this
it
out.
is. It's pretty true.
Watch the look. Watch the look. Doesn't know
They
where to
usually
go.
are.
Glasses come off. What? Where am I?
Looks like he's trying to slip his cups. And
Now listen to the
there are
microphone.
other units who have got to the scene, saw the wreck, and stopped to assist.
Where's my
And that might be
granddaughter?
why it's also
Brother.
taking so long for someone to come in back up.
Know where your granddaughter is? Ask the Secret Service detail. What the
All
folks?
troopers over here handling business. Good thing he's
Example
received
number
attention
one
they can
of the
handle
modern
persons that's
Democrat, the
non-compliant.
shell. They don't advance socialism because they think it works. They're just too stupid to read the history of it failing.
Oh, you know what?
In the shell category, I put the
switched the
AOC
dice.
types, just really dumb
forgot to
people,
switch it back.
and I put the Joe Biden types, the people who are just shells of
supposed to
a
go the
human
other
being.
way.
Biden just doesn't process information anymore. He's got that look on his face all the time. You saw it where he's like, always like, look, yes, thank you, sir. Look at it. There it is, sir. There's the look right there. He's like, what's going on? Where am I? Who are these people? Why did they airdrop me into this event in a suit? He probably guy has no idea where he is. So he doesn't have any idea that socialism has led to the death and destruction of hundreds of millions of people throughout human history because he doesn't even know his name or where he's at. Where's my granddaughter? I don't know. Can Democrats, for the sake of humanity, can you please stop trotting this guy out in public? Why, Dan? No, I'm serious. Because the United States is having a moment right now, UFC 250, FIFA, the world is starting to recognize how great this country is, and I got a great guest, Jason Bartlett, who's been an internet sensation, coming up, and it's fantastic interview. Big D like, which is rare. I got Jason Bartlett coming up, but we're having a moment right now, and this is ruining it for America, because countries around the world who really don't like us and don't like us having a moment, look at Biden and can't believe, like, this, a guy like this got selected.
Again, I'd like to mention for
They can't believe it.
If you're going 100 miles
Notice
per
my
hour,
words,
the person
very
in the
careful.
initial violation was seatbelt. Is it possibly
They can't
better
believe
to
it.
think about another option as opposed to getting
What a
yourself or
scam.
someone else injured?
So there's the shell. I put him in the same category as the AOC. They can't process information. They're just not smart. Hold on.
Content just like it.
Hey, John, can I call you right back? I'm doing the show live, and I got important questions.
Yes, look at
All right,
that.
thanks. That was really
Ah,
tough.
so close, so
You'll
close.
see
Wait,
why
wait,
it's
wait.
now you have to stay tuned for the end of the show, and you'll see why John Rich calling me back is really important. You have to stay tuned for the interview. I promise this will make perfect sense, okay? We should have just had the conversation on the air. I just didn't want to, I don't want to put him, right? I just didn't want to put him on the spot. No, you'll see why. Countries around the world see this and they can't believe the United States was led by this group. Now, yesterday at the event, you saw the second type of modern Democrat. The second type of modern Democrat is the fraud. This is the individuals like the Mamdamis, the Elizabeth Warrens, the Valerie Jarretts. Why am I bringing up Valerie Jarrett? You'll see in a minute. Oh no, socialism is destructive, is deadly, causes famines, torture, all of that shit. All of the really bad, tragic events in human history have been caused by some type of collectivist government effort, tyrannical rule, whatever it may be. And they're just frauds. They just like socialism because they're the limousine socialists that benefit from the organized, collective, unified power component. They benefit from it. That's the only reason. They're frauds. Here's what I mean. Here's Valerie Jarrett yesterday speaking at the opening of the garbage can in Chicago. And Valerie Jarrett, who you remember sadly from the Obama days, here she is with a land acknowledgement. A land acknowledgement. You just shit all over everyone and built this thing in a park on everybody else's land. And now you're like rubbing it in. This was land that used to be owned by, and she mentions a couple of Indian tribes. So just knock the place down and give it back. Holy Moses, man, how hard is this? You're acknowledging the land that you guys just built on, that nobody wanted you around, and you built a garbage can on it?
This trooper is really calm. I mean, I've had this
is such a kick in the balls. You could just give it back, sister. Just give it back. Here she is. Here's the fraud component of the Democrat Party.
I'd like to take a moment to recognize the original inhabitants of the land upon which we are gathered today. We honor the Anishinaabe, the Council of Street Fighters, the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi nations.
Folks in the Ojibwe, get a petition together. I'm not kidding. I am as serious as a stroke. Ojibwe tribe members, get a petition together. And how about they just acknowledge it's your land? So the five fires, she just said it. She just got to be some kind of contract there. She just said this is your land. Go take it back. The garbage can is yours. Go forth to love and serve Ojibwe. The garbage can is yours. We heretofore declare the garbage can belongs to the Ojibwe. Take it back. Take it back, Ojibwe. Go there, get a petition together. Get the Chicago City Council, folks. The Ojibwe should have some ownership rights to the Obama Presidential Center. Do it, Ojibwe. Who said it? Radman. They cheated. They cheated. They stole it from the Ojibwe. Now, in case you're saying like, well, listen, they didn't steal it from the Ojibwe. They didn't steal it from the Ojibwe, and they can't afford to give it back. Oh, Obama can afford it. Obama can afford it. Can you guys pull up the ChatGPT? What? Just ask what Obama's net worth is.
This is really interesting. It's very nuanced. Law enforcement will understand this, but it's important education of the show.
$100,000. $70 million? Holy Moses! Sounds like he's got a lot of it there. I thought they hate the rich. I thought they hate millionaires and billionaires. Just give it back. Give it back. Just give it back. Rock, you can do it. You can afford it. Give it to the Ojibwe. They deserve it. What a scam. How do you fall for this shit? Every single time. I'm serious. If you're a Democrat, you're a working man or woman out there, you're a nurse, a firefighter, you're a miner in Pennsylvania somewhere, an oil field worker, you're a roughneck out there, a wildcatter out there, doing your thing. How the hell do you fall for this shit? Land acknowledgments.
Lesson here. You can be completely kind and polite and lethal at the same time. No need to escalate the situation.
Hello, John. Cynthia Phoenix says hello. We love John. Johnny Ray. You ever been to his bar, Redneck Riviera? It's an important component of the show lately. Folks, the Democrat Party has become a party full of just wussies. I'm really sorry. It's just pathetic at this point. Everything that's good about America they hate. I showed you that Harry Anton poll yesterday from CNN, where 7 out of 10 Democrats are not proud of the country. I feel bad for you, I really do. This show is like all America all the time because we love this place, because it matters. No, it does matter. No one's going to defend with their blood, sweat, tears, and treasure a club, a country, or anything else, a fraternal organization that they hate. So it's a real problem that we have a political party where the overwhelming majority of members of said party just don't like the country. It's kind of a big freaking deal. And I think it's because a lot of folks after our generation, 40s and 50s, that's why I asked you about who shot you. And nothing's done by mistake. I think our generation was the last, like, real badass generation. If you're in your 40s or 50s, I'm not kidding. Remember we used to just go out and never come back until, like, the street lights went on? There were no cell phones. Your mom and dad had no idea. To the young folks out there today, this is going to be so foreign to you. There were no geo tags, air tags. Justin's like, no, there was none of that shit. There was no Bluetooth. There was no freaking internet. There was no internet at all. My friend Joe Vaccaro, who owned a restaurant, his family had an Italian restaurant, he got the first internet in the neighborhood when I was like, I don't know, 10, and he got like Prodigy. And I remember you would hit we tried to get the Yankees score. It took 20 minutes to load the page. You went out and never came back. It was so bad. Hat tip Heather who sent me this. This is awesome. It was so bad. This is a real commercial from the Who Shot JR era when we grew up. And I miss this so much. This was an actual commercial because so many kids late at night would just never come home. There was a commercial that ran on TV. It's 10 p.m. Do you know what your children are? At them, so hey, check this out. This is real. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? It's 10 p.m.
Do you know where your children are? It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
I'm going to tell you something. Linda Carter, okay, man. Back in the day, everybody knew Linda Carter. Even Linda Carter's like really dramatic. And then you had Archie Bunker there too, Carol O'Connor. It's 10 p.m. You know where your children are. Some of you people don't even know who those people are. Maybe you're a little young. I'm just telling you, like, we were a badass generation. We just popped out of the house in the morning and never came home. We used to drink out of those hoses that now we find out are like polluted with like PAs and all that stuff. It's the craziest thing, man. No one went home. I left with $1. I'd get a quarter drink and an onion bagel with butter on it. I think that was my diet for the whole day. We played SpongeBob in PS 91 near Queens and Central Park for like 12 hours till your arm fell off. And then you go out and pitch 5,000 pitches again the next day. No wonder I have freaking arthritis now. That was a badass generation. We have to disconnect a little bit from the phones and social media. We have to allow our kids to be a little bit badass. We've got to let it fall. We gotta let it gotta let them struggle a little bit and try to find their way out of an airport for the first time. Some of them do. So especially families. You gotta let them struggle a little bit. You gotta let them struggle. Payphones, someone just said in the chat. Remember payphones? It was a dime and then it was a quarter. That's how you call home. Those phones were disgusting, by the way, in New York. You get drunks who'd like pee on them. I don't even know how the thing got up that high. It was gross. And you were there like alcohol pads. You would like, you'd hold the phone away from the ear and be like, and then when you had to do something, you'd still have to do it. You'd be like, nasty. Gross. That's why I think people are so happy we got a badass president who's the boss. Like walks into the G7 and it's like, yeah, I'm the boss. Is he kidding? Was he not kidding? I don't care. He's the boss. A lot of people are proud of that. And being that it's Friday, I saw this. You ever hear this guy Tricks? This comedy bit. Want to see why a lot of people love our president, fiercely loyal, outside of the politics? Because they know he loves his country. He embodies what the business environment, the risk taker. You don't have to run for office. Check this out and see why there's some unending loyalty to the man, not just the office. Check this out.
Trump almost got shot twice and closed after. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever been shot at, sir, but I'm pretty sure your first thought is to close before you start running. I don't think you understand how awesome that is. If you pop a balloon in here right now, I'm leaving. I'm not
best practice, if you put a person inside
Let's
the
say
vehicle,
one of
is
you
to
don't
put
like
the
me. You
seatbelt
start
on.
to
It's a
throw
minor
ice
statement, people
towards
can
the
take them off.
stage,
There's one
and it
tactic that I
grazes
would
my
do is I
ear.
would take the
I
seatbelt
am
and I would
never
read
coming
it
back to
through the
Provo.
and then I would pull the seatbelt and make sure that it was buckled in so they wouldn't be able to move. Not so hard that they weren't able to leave, but enough that they weren't able to
trying to
move
kill
on.
you.
If they took the seatbelt off
Even
for
the
a reason, I
bodyguards
know
like,
that they're
we
taking
gotta
the
go.
seatbelt
He's
off,
like,
and there's a reason
no.
why they took the seatbelt off. But to me, putting the seatbelt on, at least from a visual perspective, you
Hot
can tell if
please
they're taking their
in
seatbelt
the
off or
chat.
they're potentially trying.
Harley's in the chat. It's your show too. That is some funny shit. Tricks, I don't know yet. That's freaking hilarious. Because it's true. The guy gets shot in the head. By the way, he's not even sure. No one told him, like, hey, threats neutralized, sir, pose. Did he? Oh, man, this chat's now, that's a fiery chat today. Now I can't even see it anymore. The chat is just tearing it out. I can't even. Nobody told him. He could have been shot again. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. And so if you ever get a chance one day to interview, you have a show, whatever, Sean Curran, who's in the picture, Secret Service director, the president basically told him, all he said was, I'm getting my shoe, and I'm like, I'm not going yet. They wanted him to, like, crawl off the seat. What are you going to do it? He was like, you try to shoot me, motherfucker. I'm not dying. I'm not getting dead today. Because he's the boss. Because he's the boss. He's about to say something like, you know, the boss is an insurance company. No, I know this man. He said, well, super short. Probably. He's the boss. He's the boss. But listen, we know. Outside of that, the guy keeps racking up W's.
Still, I mean, she seems like she's
he does.
Compliant, but she's wandering.
I'm going to show you again. We've got the Nothing is Happening file, which has become a running joke on the show with all the stuff happening. It's amazing how people told us all this stuff, and then when it later goes on and happens, fraud cases, money behind these riots, none of the Nothing is Happening people ever go back and apologize and acknowledge, okay, I was wrong. W's coming up next. Dubs in the chat. Folks, let me tell you something. When you sign your insurance policy for some brokers, that's the finish line. It shouldn't be handshake, commission, done, it's over. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. That's no way to run a business, right? Your business runs all year. So do the gaps and the risks. They don't go anywhere. That's why I'm introducing you to a great company, Super Sure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, too complex to just buy a policy online. Super Sure is a super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts, which is really important, translate your current policy into plain English, so you know what's covered and what's not. Really important. Plus, they have a business value calculator. It's really cool. You can estimate what your business is worth, so you know what actually needs protected. Go to supersure.com/Bongino. It's one super agency, one powerful platform. All your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com/Bongino. That's supersure.com/Bongino. Consult your licensed insurance professional, discuss coverage options for your specific business, and it's paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency. Supersure. Today's show also brought to you by Interested in Person Protection. One options. Byrna, BYRNA.com. I get asked this all the time. Law enforcement experience. What do you use? How do you help protect your family? I like options. How do you help protect your family without making your life? Let me tell you about Byrna, BYRNA. Very, very popular. I have a Byrna that's 72. Let me tell you, I trust it. Byrna has a less than lethal launcher. It fires powerful kinetic and chemical rounds that give capacity to attacker for up to 30 minutes. Give you time to get away or for help. Byrna's compact launcher is about the size of a smartphone. It's really easy to carry, easy to use. There's no background check required. It's a great device. The Byrna CL fires at up to 400 feet per second with serious stopping power. It's designed to help with de-escalation, not devastation. It's proudly American Byrna, assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. More than 750,000 Byrna launchers are already in the hands of law enforcement and other and responsible citizens who want protection without tragedy. If you believe in being prepared, you also believe in restraint. Byrna is for you. Go to BYRNA.com.
He ate his neighbors? What?
Ladies and gentlemen, yes, amazing things are happening. We can discuss again all of the stuff that that needs to get moving a little quicker, some of the things that haven't worked out great, and we do that. We just did yesterday. It's okay. But it's a Friday, it's America 250, amazing things are happening, and the nothing is happening people are really starting to look ridiculous more and more by the day. So remember, here we go, the nothing is happening, it's getting bigger, we're gonna have to add a third shelf. Remember when all of those fraud cases were in Minneapolis and you saw the Nick Shirley famous videos, Cam Higby and others who had done these independent journals, Savannah Hernandez, and all independent journals out there doing great work, right? And there were people saying, well, Dan, I didn't see anything happening. And I said, well, that's impossible because I was at the FBI when it was happening before the videos even came out. And then, like, the nothing is happening people, they never, like, apologized or anything.
No.
Well, here's more. There have been hundreds more arrests in Minneapolis, so no one's asking for any kind of pat on the back. I'm not there anymore. I'm just telling you, like, the administration is doing something. They're not forgetting about this. This just happened the other day, an announcement out of Minneapolis, even more fraud case arrests. Check this out.
Decisive moment in our fight to protect American taxpayers from fraudsters and to defend the integrity of America's healthcare system. We are announcing today charges against 324 defendants for their alleged participation in healthcare fraud schemes involving approximately 14.
Right, so that's the thing, is a lot of people read about that kind of stuff, so what is
submitted
it?
to Medicare,
Right, you hear that a lot, common denominators, they start reading about certain stuff.
Dubs in the chat. I see Dubs creeping up. I see Trump dance creeping up too.
Yeah, those kind of
Dubs
things.
in the chat.
One of the wealthiest in the
Hey,
state.
by the way, this is not even the end.
Right,
There's
so a
going
lot
to
of
be
people
more
enjoy
still.
those
You're
kind
at
of things.
hundreds and hundreds and
Murder
hundreds of arrests.
mysteries.
Tens of billions of dollars
So,
in fraud. Hopefully, Dubs everywhere in the chat. Folks, you're allowed to complain.
right, but it's just it's something that the mothers
That's part of being in a
recognized
republic.
that he was
You know what
doing
led to the
lately,
revolution?
so
A bunch of patriots and
They might
colonials
look
complaining
into-
about British rule. Complaining is nothing more American than complaining
if
about
he was
policies you don't
only
like.
reading
I'm
about
just
it,
telling
or
you,
was he
the
talking
nothing
to
is
other
happening
people,
complaint is
or
just
picking apart
dumb.
or whatever?
Another one I heard was you
Yeah,
guys aren't
and then just
investigating
kinda look into
Antifa and all the
this.
funding, and then I point out that there have been the first
It's not gonna change
prosecution
his
federally of
charges
Antifa,
any,
and they're like,
but
oh, well,
might
they move on to another one.
others
Well, you're not,
understand
you
some
guys
of
aren't
those
trying to
things.
find the money sources, which, again, I know is not true because I was there when we were doing it. Here's the United States Attorney, Daniel Rosen, talking about an arrest for funding sources of some of these riots. But again, nothing is happening. People just move on to the next thing next. Dubs in the chat. Check this out.
Action Minnesota is an organization dedicated to direct action against federal law and immigration enforcement. This action is not peaceful, it's obstructive, disruptive, and unlawful. The organization trains its members in the aggressive use of shields against law enforcement, surveillance, operational planning, and rapid mobilization against law enforcement action. The Black Hat Workers Collective is a Minneapolis-based Antifa affinity group which advocates, promotes, and utilizes militant tactics and violence. Here you can see that their Facebook cover page shows as a banner the burning down of the Minneapolis Police Department's 3rd Precinct. One of the leaders of Direct Action Minnesota, Defendant Kyle Wagner, identifies himself as
Folks, again, this is now second or third Antifa-related big federal investigation. You had the SPLC ongoing. Everyone's entitled to their day in court, the presumption of innocence, of course. You have the BLM arrest. That happened too. Yes, just look it up. Don't take my word for it. You're allowed to complain, and I fully support your First Amendment right to assemble, petition your government, complain about it. But you're just not allowed to make stuff up like nothing is happening, because you're just lying to yourself, and you're allowed to do it, but it just makes you look stupid. And no, folks, we're not. And by the way, here's another one. Remember this Skid Row? Or was it Cam Higby who did it? And when O'Keefe, they went out to Skid Row in LA and they were doing these videos about homeless people on Skid Row who were encouraged to sign up to vote and were given money for that. And people were saying, well, nothing is happening. Okay, again, New York Post, June 18th, FBI agents descend on Skid Row in massive voter fraud probe after stunning claims of election. Right, it doesn't, like, they'll move on to the next one next. So, folks, W's in the chat. The Trump administration is not effing around. They are not kidding. Everything you told us wasn't happening has actually happened. I wanted to use the word literally, but I hate it. I can't stand it. Yes, you are the boss. And when a boss demands results, people do it or they get fired. And no, we're not going back to the Obama-Biden era crazy, folks. The culture has moved on. We're not going back. We are not going back to... I'm just watching the chat. I love to see you guys go. I don't even know half of these emojis in the chat. We're not going back to that. I love live sports, folks. We're not going back to this. We're not doing it. Look at the face. Look at the face. He's always so perpetually
And if that were the
confused.
case
The neurons,
too, whether
the
it be
dendrites and axons are
drugs
not
or
connecting. The myelin's not there.
hallucinogenic
There's no, what is it, the nodes
states.
of reindeer and stuff. They're not there
Yeah,
anymore.
sometimes can be
There's
caused
no
by other
insulation
things,
on
too,
the
but then
electrical
the
circuitry in the
combination.
brain. We're not going back to the identity politics-based America you guys wanted. With the LGBTQIA2 plus spirit, whatever that, I don't even know, I've lost track of it. We're not doing it.
I mean,
Listen to me,
either
listen
way,
to Dan.
too,
I'm gonna
right?
help you.
With those things.
Every person was touched by God.
Either way,
unalienable
the
rights,
education
and has
about
God
those things
given
and how
right
that
regard, capital God.
happens.
They're not state given, they're God. I get it.
Right,
Live
that's
your life,
always been
brothers,
kind of
sisters,
snuffed
do your
out
thing, okay? It's not my thing.
from
do
the
your
education
thing.
system,
Not angry at
and it
anybody.
seems
Do your
really
thing. Don't make your thing our
when
thing.
you think about it.
We're not interested. We just want to be left alone too. Just leave everybody alone. Okay? We're not interested. Major League Baseball. I love sports. Sports are great. There's nothing like communal activities with other human beings where you're at an Auburn football game and they win in the last minute. Like the Missouri game I was at, 3-4 years ago, even with a terrible game. And you just like, some random guy like gives you a high five and you're like, the beer's getting thrown in. There's nothing like that. You're never going to experience that on a screen. Sports was like the last vestige of sanity in America where we put aside our politics and everybody just shows up and has a good time. Why do you guys got to root
And to be able to
Major
explain
League
that to
Baseball,
them.
please cut the bullshit. The
It
Pride
seems like a
Night
lot of
stuff and
people
all this
who
other
make those
stuff where you're
decisions
forcing
don't
it
really
down people's
understand
throats.
that.
I know you saw the story a
I mean,
couple
if they
days
did,
ago,
you
but
would
now
think
it's gone kind of viral.
they
As
do
other
the
people
right
are
thing
speaking
unless
out.
they're so driven
You
by
probably
it.
saw this story a few days ago with these 3 San Francisco Giants pitchers who wore Bible verses on their Pride Night caps during Friday's game. MLB has since issued a warning to them. Major League Baseball, I'm telling you, this is going to blow up catastrophically in your face. Here you see the picture. Good for this guy for speaking. He's allowed to put a Bible verse. Oh, it's a violation of the uniform. You just changed the uniform for the Pride Night thing on the hat. What are you talking about? You didn't seem to care during the BLM days when everybody was putting all this stuff while BLM was fleecing Americans out of money and building large mansions. That's what BLM really stands for. The only black lives that mattered to them were the ones that were giving them money so they could build large mansions. And everybody's such a fraud on the left about this. Look at the San Francisco Chronicle. This guy Kevin Dalton pointed this out. San Francisco Chronicle, the newspaper there, was more than happy to celebrate all kinds of uniform manipulations like Colin Kaepernick, the old quarterback wearing the socks that had cops depicted as pigs. They were more than happy about that kind of activism and those uniforms when it benefited their cause. Put that up. But now all of a sudden they're pissed off about these two? Here's the Kevin Dalton, San Francisco Chronicle. Athletes should express themselves. Also, the Chronicle. Not you guys. Here are the tweets. An opinion piece from 2016 about Kaepernick. I support Kaepernick in stating his opinion, breaking his silence. So brave, folks. And then you get these guys who put a Bible verse on their hat. It's not like they put on their house like XXXporn.com or whatever the hell it is. Here's the San Francisco Chronicle again. Opinion. On Pride Night, 4 Giants pitchers on the Wobegon team opted to either deface their official uniform or ignore it altogether, hijacking the event for their own purpose. You guys are just full of shit. Totally, completely full of shit. And people are starting to stand up. Do your thing. Do your thing. Nobody wants your thing jammed down their throat if they don't believe that your thing is their thing. This isn't hard, man. This isn't hard. Check out this tweet. There was a minor league baseball team, the York Revolution. Gabrielle Mediak on X. The York Revolution canceled today's game after several players refused to wear the team's planned Pride Night jerseys. Officials say the Pride Night will go on at Wellspan Park from 5:30. Good, have fun. There's not going to be a game. Do your thing. Do your thing. Your thing is not our thing. We don't force our thing on your thing. Let's just keep the thing separate. You do your own thing. We do our thing. You all have, there's no rights that have been taken away from you by government. This is not a thing anymore. We're not going back. The culture is shifting dramatically. And I'm going to warn a lot of the identity politics folks pushing this down our throat, whether it's DEI or Pride Night activism and all this other stuff. You are not helping. Listen to Dan. I'm actually helping you here by telling you you're not helping. Read the room. The polls are going down. They're getting worse. People just want to be left alone. Just do your thing. We do our thing. Separate the things, and we're good to go. Because we're not going back to that. We're not. The trust in media. Look, the media promoting all this all the time. We're not going back to the Biden era either. I had to play this. This has been sitting in my library for the last few days. Again, just please, Joe Biden and his family, prominent neurosurgeon, Dr. Jill, famous blowhole painter, Hunter Biden, just keep that, let him do his thing. Again, keep his thing separate from America's thing, because I don't need the international community seeing that this guy was the president of the United States. He, for some stupid reason, decides to go take a car ride with Jay Leno. Did you just slip that Trump across the screen? How'd you do that? He skied across the screen. That was crazy. If you're missing a lot, you gotta watch the video on Rumble. Rumble.com/Bunch. We're not going back to. Here's Biden in the car with Jay Leno. This is quick. He wants to go back to don't drill, baby, drill, where we're not actually pulling petrochemicals out of the ground to use in, energy, while the Democrats are trying to run on lower gas prices and affordability. The Democrats are probably like, please make this guy go away. Check this out.
Well, the other thing I was able to do, I made sure there could be no oil drilling off the East Coast, the West Coast, and 150 miles off in Gulf of Mexico. You can do away with all of that protection, too. No more windmills. Yeah, that's because they kill birds. Yeah, I know.
Okay, we're not going back to $7 gas and don't drill, baby, drill. We're not doing it. But Biden is so out of it. Like I said, the shells, there are two Democrats, the shells and the frauds. That's it. There's no third category anymore. Biden's a shell. He just doesn't know anything anymore. The computer doesn't work. Windmills, he's questioning if windmills kill birds. Can you go to Grok or something? Just ask Grok, because I pride myself on this show being informational entertainment, where you can. So, folks, for the first time hearing this, maybe young environmentalists tuning into the show who don't know who shot JR. Do windmills kill birds? There's Justin's account. Yes, wind turbines, often called windmills, do kill birds. What, like a couple hundred? 140,000 to about 1 million birds a year. That's like the population of some states in the country.
Cars, birds fly into
Yes, Joe. They kill birds. Birds die.
Trees.
Here's how it works, Joe. You get a windmill with a blade, and it spins, and the bird goes and crashes into. This isn't hard.
Do birds kill each other?
Bird turbine physics. Force equals mass times acceleration. It's a lot of force when the mass of the bird accelerates into the freaking blade. There's a problem with the modern Democrat Party outside of their general level of low IQ and aptitude, okay? Aptitude and achievement are two different things. Some people who are really smart and have a lot of aptitude genetically, they don't achieve a lot because they're lazy. There are some people with low aptitude, however, they're not really genetically programmed
and competition for nesting
and they
sites
become
or
super
food.
successful because they've achieved a lot and have grit. The Democrat Party has none of these. They have no achievements and they have no aptitude. That's why you have your shells and your frauds. And that's why I'm constantly.
Raptors and
you want to
hawks,
set me off
and
to
sometimes they
ask
rely
me about
other
the Social
birds
Security
as
situation.
primary
Why
source
can't
of
you hate someone?
food.
It's not that I hate
Even
the
songbirds
it's
and
not that I hate
corvids,
it.
such as crows
It's that,
and blue
and this
jays,
always
will
pisses off some of my
opportunistically
audience,
kill
it's that
and
it's
eat
so
the nestling or
kind of
eggs of other
epidemic
species.
of government creating a problem and then blaming you for the problem they created, and now layering a class warfare argument on it to solve. What am I talking about? I want you to read this tweet because it's really important. This is Russ Green, Green
Nest
Plus
competition,
A&E on Twitter.
broad
89%
parasitism,
of senior citizens support raising taxes on younger workers to maintain their benefits. The median primary voter is 65. Why am I bringing this up? This is not an attack on seniors, seniors, men and women out there. Thank you. Stop, don't get angry. But here's the poll, in case you think I'm making this up or Russ is making it up. I love you. You know that. You are the greatest generation of people. People who fought in Vietnam, people who fought in World War II. I love you. The fact that you paid into this system and were made a bunch of promises by feckless government a-holes who stole your money, it's not your fault. Don't yell at me in the chat. I love you. Period. Stop, full stop. Not even a four-way stop sign where no one stops. A two-way, just one. It's here, right there. One-way stop, right there. That's it. I'm just telling you, the government stole your money. They did. They tell you there's a trust fund. There's no freaking trust fund. Why am I bringing up this tweet then? How seniors now support raising taxes on younger voters. Because the irony now is the Democrat Party of shells and frauds, because they stole your money, are starting this whole class warfare argument against you. Seniors, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the Democrats and a lot of these feckless government assholes that stole your money. Because you know what, they're out there? Have you seen this? Justin, you're online perpetually like me. Folks, who shot JR, right? If you know that, you're probably in what these younger kids would call the boomer class. Boomer. It's not meant as a compliment, believe me. It's meant to imply like we're old, out of touch people. I take offense to it, but whatever. They're starting this class warfare argument to say, look at these seniors. These evil old people. They own houses and all this. By the way, not all of you. There are a lot of seniors out there struggling, living by their Social Security checks, all they have. I'm telling you the argument they're making, not me. Look at these rich seniors. Parasites leeching off us younger folks, got to pay the taxes to support them. They're doing that because they spent and stole your money. Not me. They're doing it. And I'm warning you now, a lot of you folks out there, my age, 50s, 60s, 70s, and older, if you don't think this is real, go start an X account tomorrow where this national conversation happens every day. X may not be real life, but it's close to it in some respects. And just put in boomer Social Security and look. There is a lot of brewing anger out there, and the AOCs of the world and the Elizabeth Warrens and others are fostering that anger, and the Robert Reiches of the world. With his pina colada, whatever's in that fake drink he's drinking. It's probably a non-alcoholic one. And it's not even official. I'm just warning you. Red, do me a favor, flags in the chat. Flag it up. Flag it. What's this episode number? 2538. Put that on the board. 2538. Mark it. And mark it. What are we? 50 minutes in and 41 seconds? Mark it. Because when this erupts into full-blown proletariat, Bolshevik type class warfare, in the next few years as Social Security gets exposed for having no money, flag it in the chat. You are going to see a full-blown eruption of Democrat-induced class warfare anger against seniors who busted their asses to give you the future you have now. Mark it. And you'll remember Brother Dan here warned you. It is exploding on Twitter.
Dan Bongino.
Along with the anti-Jew stuff and everything. Boomers, bunch of parasites. You shitting me, bro? Your grandparents? They didn't have no freaking internet. They didn't sit around all day. They They had a buster. They didn't even have half these job protections. You ask your grandfather, like, the people who built the Empire State Building and these skyscrapers, they barely had harnesses, some of them were up there. Like, what happens if you fall? They'd be like, you pretty much die. Like, what do you mean? That can't be the answer. No, yeah, you die. They don't fall. That's not a thing now. That's not a thing. These people, your grandparents, had freaking balls of stone. Actual stone. Stones in the body? Yes, it wasn't even tissue. It was just stone. You kicked them in the balls, nothing happened. It was just stone. They'd be like, kick me in the gym again. Just like the Beavis and Butthead gym teacher cat. Well, I may be aging myself again. I mean, that can't be the answer. No, yeah, you die. They don't fall. That's not a thing now. That's not a thing. These people, your grandparents, had freaking balls of stone. Actual stone. Stones in the body? Yes, it wasn't even tissue. It was just stone. You kicked them in the balls, nothing happened. It was just stone. They'd be like, kick me in the gym again. Just like the Beavis and Butthead gym teacher cat. Well, I may be aging myself again. They had balls. The government told them, give us your money. We're going to take care of you. And then they said, double barrel middle finger. We spend your money. And then they chin up all the kids. Blame it on the boomers. They started. Greedy old people. Greedy old people, my ass. Respect your elders. They lived a lot harder time than you did. My grandparents lived through the Great Depression, man. Freaking government cheese lines. You ever eat government cheese? Eat it once, you may not live through it. If you lived off government cheese growing up, your stomach can conquer anything. This is not medical advice. Ebola, Hanta, it laughs. Your GI tract laughs at that. Ebola comes in and go, ha! I ate government cheese and washed my hands in a McDonald's with a bar of hand soap. That happened too. There was actual hand soap. You were immune to anything. Anything. There's like the 72nd strain of COVID. Your body's like, I washed my hands in McDonald's with hand soap. With the cloth thing that they used to roll. Remember that thing? These guys don't even know what that is. Can you guys look on the internet? Did McDonald's or restaurants ever have hand soap and the clothy thing? There are pictures of it. Respect your elders. They've got a better immune system than you do. They go out and play outside. Remember, this is not medical advice, do not do this. You go outside, you get a nasty cut that probably needed stitches, and your grandfather be like, rub some dirt in that shit, be good for you. Nobody got like stitches? They're like, anybody got some duct tape or something? I'm not even kidding, I got a guy, a friend of mine. There, he's not my grandfather, but he's a friend. He nearly cut his toe off with a lawnmower accident and like duct taped it. And like finished mowing the lawn and went to the hospital. If you know who shot JR, you know that. This show is some epic shit, I know. I'm in a mood today, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's Friday, but if I hear one more thing about, pardon my fucking boomers, I'm gonna lose it. We had to be cops back in the day on a foot post. There were no cameras or nothing. You got in a fight, got your ass kicked. You better pray to God you had access to your radio. No one had a cell phone to call for help. They call for help. Paul Revere was coming to save you. You get your ass kicked in the street. It'd be 5 minutes before an R&B police car showed up. There was no one calling. Hey man, your guy's getting his ass kicked. I know. I've Wall Street Journal. We have this thing on the show. I get these elements I love, and I never get to them, and they sit in these files, and it becomes a running joke because we do a pre-show rundown. I have been dying to talk about this journal piece for 5 days, and Guy's like, I know you're not going to get to it again. I just out of courtesy to Guy, I just got to bring it up. Because on this Social Security fight that they're ginning up young people against the boomers or whatever, who busted their ass, the only thing that's going to save this program, the only thing are free markets and capitalism. That's it. Anyone thinking like the government's going to come in and tax younger people out, it's not going to happen. It's just going to fail. SpaceX went public. You probably heard of it, Elon's company. Elon's probably the greatest American entrepreneur. I mean, I don't even know. Has there been one that's had a more dramatic effect on humankind outside of like Edison and electricity? I mean, even foreigners like Tesla and others. I mean, but I talk about invention-wise. I mean, Rockefeller. I mean, there were, the barons of the time, J.P. Morgan, financial engineering and stuff. But has there been anyone who's like, through the sheer willpower of his own mind? When I say Tesla, I mean Nikola Tesla, not the car brand. I mean that way. I don't know. But Elon goes public and creates something like 4,000 millionaires overnight the second it goes public. So they have this article up in the Wall Street Journal. This is the only thing that's going to... This is Guy, of course, messing with my show because he's been here long and he takes liberties with it. Finally, us getting to this article. Who wants to be a trillionaire? They know in the Wall Street Journal, if this happened in China, all these millionaires, the same leftist shells and frauds would be like, look, the Communist Party's got it right, man. Socialism rules. It happens in the United States. And what do? Oh, man, rich Elon. What a piece of garbage. I could have invented the whole chopsticks thing, catching rockets. And yeah, sure, AOC. Is that between, like, serving buds in the bar? Like, give me a break, man. And then they note as well at all these new millionaires that were created. I don't understand, like, do we want to be a wealthy country or do we want to be poor? You should be celebrating this. It's the only thing that's going to save our future, a free market. 4,400 SpaceX current and former employees. Or it made either $1 million or $100 million on paper. We should be celebrating this. Like, this is a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
As Nina tells us, man, I'm never getting this other stuff.
I have to. Don't you dare go anywhere because, by the way, that sounds like threatening. I love you. It's not a threat. I've got this Jason Bartlett coming up. Can we have a Jason Bartlett video? Tee it up now. I got a couple other things I want to get. This guy has become an internet celebrity. He's South African. He's now living in the United States. He just does these videos celebrating the glories of America. He's been everywhere. We got him on the show coming up. And there's a connection to John Rich. You'll see in the interview in a minute. But in case you don't know who this guy is, check this out.
On my way between all the museums, you just bump into the most beautiful places. It is so freaking gorgeous out there. Let me turn around and go there to show you this. But nothing's painted on. There's no human feces laying around. People are constructing stuff, fixing stuff, maintaining stuff. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. How beautiful is that? Archives of the United States of America. Can't make this up. Look how gorgeous this is. Am I excited? Yes, I feel like a little kid. Look at this. Jumping on you. Water's clean. Oh man, that's so awesome. Look at this. Oh wow. Man, God bless America.
Wait till you hear what he's got to say about it. Even Guy, like, he doesn't like anything. Guy hates everything all the time. He's a happy guy. He just hates everything. It's like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. He was like, well, that was awesome, man. I know. I mean, he loves Star Wars. He loves Star Wars. He loves Boba Fett, and he loves Han Solo. Dude, what does he shoot, Greedo? What's the name of the bar? The Cancun Cantina or something? What is it? What's the name of that bar? Mos Eisley. I thought it was the Cantina in Cancun or something. Cancun Cantina was a bar I used to hang out, allegedly, when I was here. Scum and villainy hanging out there. Yeah, these guys love their Star Wars. Folks, I love this country. So does Jason. He's going to make that crystal clear. However, we played a clip from this comedian Nate Bargatze a little while ago. And the clip, everybody loved it. It was on SNL, had to have Saturday Night Live, which I'm not a huge fan of, but this is some funny stuff. And the guys were like, Dan, there's an even funnier part of this clip you missed in the beginning. It's about like America and 250 and the Battle of Trenton and the crossing of the Potomac. Well, it's not all about it. But they said, you got to see the beginning. I said, all right, I usually like to do the show myself, but if you guys are saying it's funny, I'll check it out. So I'm seeing this for the first time. Not a joke. Unlike Biden saying that this is not, I've never seen this before. So me and you are going to experience this together. This is the first half of that SNL clip about the founders of George Washington. Check this out.
We fight for a country of our own, a new nation, where we choose our own laws.
Here, said sir.
Choose our own leaders.
Yes, sir.
And choose our own systems of weights and measures.
Weights and measures, sir?
Yes. Yes, I dream of that one day. Our proud nation will measure weights in pounds and then 2,000 pounds of
insane. And we'll put 1,000
pounds be called, sir? Nothing? Because we will have no word for that.
Looks like we should have a word for 1,000 pounds, sir.
And yet we won't. Because we are free men. And we will be free to measure liquids in liters and milliliters. But not all liquids, only soda, wine, and alcohol.
Only those, sir.
Yes. Because for milk and paint, we'll use gallons, pints, and quarts, God will.
How many liters are in a gallon, sir?
Nobody knows.
Sir, in this new country, what plans are there for men of color such as I?
Distance will be measured in inches, feet, yard, and mile. So 12 inches to a foot?
12 feet to a yard.
If it were only so simple. 3 feet to a yard.
And how many yards to a mile?
Nobody knows.
Okay, well, how many feet to a mile?
5,280. Of course. It's a simple number that everyone will remember. I'm glad you guys didn't show me that in advance. We played the one a couple weeks ago with the hot dog. Is there a dog? No, there's no dog and either hamburger. Surely there's ham and hamburger. No, there will be no ham. We're the United States. We can measure however we want. That's the great part about it. That's the best part about living in the Motley's and Now, I got Jason Bartlett coming up in one of our best interviews. Again, Guy liked it. Incredible. Guy likes to do the greedo on everyone. I'm in Philly, you don't like anybody. He liked it coming up next. But it is Friday. Producer Jim, who we all love. We love producer Jim, working with Vince on his radio show now. But he's always texting me all kinds of stuff. I think he texted me before. I saw some text pop up from Jim before, but I missed it. He produces for you on Friday a just wonderful moment of peace and calm and meditation. If you do like Pilates or yoga, or you like yogi lattes and all that, you're just looking for that. What is it? Namaste? Is that what they do at the end of the thing? This is your Zen moment of the day. Check this out.
Your Democrat Zen moment of the day. A peaceful moment to center your mind.
I fought for this country, for these people here of Minnesota to come and fight these motherfuckers. They're disgracing this fucking country and what it fucking means. They hide behind their fucking masks like fucking.
This has been Democrat Zen.
These Democrat Zen moments are getting more violent by the week. I'm a little like, even by the comedy standards of Democrat Zen, these people are getting crazier by the minute. And the crazy thing is they put this stuff out there in public like no one's going to see this guy. Like, bro, don't you have like, family members or something? Holy Moses, chill, take it easy. Take it, or as my cousin used to say growing up in here, take it easy. Take it easy. You could say the E part. They just had to shorten it up a little bit. Take it easy. You put a shirt together, Bongino show. Take it easy. Calm down. Holy Moses. Watch Nate Bargatze laugh a little bit. Or tricks at the beginning with the pose. I got Jason Bartlett coming up after this quick break. Rumble Wallet. How much control you have over your money right now? The technology is changing rapidly, changing how it works. Crypto is now mainstream, faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen, and it's easier to start than you think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, hold dollar-backed stable coins, or own digital gold backed by real gold, all in one place, super easy to use. It's a non-custodial crypto wallet, which means you, not a bank or a platform, control access to your funds. The setup is simple. You can connect with MoonPay, so you can use your debit card, credit card, or bank account and start in minutes. And for a limited time, if you're among the first 500 to activate your Rumble wallet, you can get $10 in US stablecoin by entering my exclusive promo code Bongino10, Bongino10 when you sign up. You can even use your Rumble wallet to support your favorite Rumble creators, like me, directly. We always appreciate it. So scan the QR code, click the link in the description, or just go to wallet.rumble.com/Bongino and download the Rumble wallet. Set up your Rumble wallet, enter promo code Bongino10 to get $10 in US stablecoin. This is a limited time offer until June 30th, so act now. Rumble Wallet, take control of your money. Start with Rumble Wallet today. Terms and conditions apply. See the description below or visit rumble.com/promo official rules for details. Thank you, Rumble Wallet. And our last sponsor today, ladies and gentlemen, get your information, if you can, off the internet with Delete Me. Can't recommend this enough. You ever thought how you should be doing more to protect yourself online? You're not sure where to start? Here's what you do. Go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Enter code Bongino, get 20% off Delete Me. There are too many crazies out there trying to find people. It's nuts, doxing people. Delete Me removes your personal information that's being sold online. In today's world, your data is everywhere. A quick internet search can reveal your home address, even your phone number. But Delete Me can help by removing your information from hundreds of data broker websites. As someone with an active online presence, it means a lot to me. I like knowing there's a service out there helping me reduce my exposure online. They do the same for you. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up with Delete Me now at a special discount for our listeners.
Over and over
Get
again.
20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Use promo code Bongino at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Enter code Bongino at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/Bongino. Code Bongino.
Youngsters into that, would be, younger ones more susceptible to it.
Welcoming to the show, one of America's newly minted celebrities. Think he could run for office here. Jason Bartlett, we showed some of his videos yesterday and today. He's been traveling around America, graciously extolling the virtues of this unbelievably beautiful and wonderful country. What an honor to have you. Thanks for spending some time with us, Jason.
Dan, honor's all mine, man. We're living in the land of the free now, and I'm absolutely ecstatic to be here. America is a become home for people like me and everybody around the world, and I can't wait to share the joy and the awesomeness of America with everyone out there.
Your videos are just so wonderful to watch because I love this place. Listen, I love humanity. Everyone's been blessed by the hand of God. We're all created equal around the world. But listen, let's be candid. Not every governing system is created equal. And the United States is such a wonderful place. And Jason, I tell people to do what you're doing now. If you have the means and the time, and I get that, not everybody has the means or the time, but if you do, the greatest gift you can give people, it's not a nice watch or a car, it's the experience of travel, where you see the rest of the world and the problems that they go through. And problems are unique, like we have them too. But then you come back to America. I'll never forget landing my first Secret Service trip to Russia, landing back in what was Andrews Air Force Base, now JBA at the time. And Jason, I wanted to kiss the ground, man. I was like, gosh, I really love this place. So it's great to see someone like you visit and see all the wonders of this great country.
Well, Dan, I'm fortunate enough to be living here now, and I'm absolutely thriving. I bought my first house here in Alabama, and I don't have a 10-foot electric fence around it. Nobody's trying to come and slit my throat. Nobody's trying to kill me. I go for a run before the crack of dawn. My wife even goes for a walk alone. And then when I was invited to come and meet with the Trump administration up in Washington about a week ago, about 10 days ago, it was the second time I ever went to D.C., and it's a transformation. It is so gorgeous, so beautiful, and the history, it might only be 250 years old. However, it felt like when I was in the Library of Congress, it felt like I was walking through the Vatican. It was so awesome. It is beautiful. The country is fresh. People are thriving. People are loving life, and we need to show them what they've got, because sometimes we don't know what you've got, like you say.
Yeah, that's such a great point. By the way, I love the bookshelf over your shoulder, but I gotta tell you, it confused me a bit, guys. I'm like, why is Jason sideways? Like the perspective from if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, the bookshelf is canted in an odd direction. I'm like, how'd they do that? But he was like sideways. I'm like, how is he defying gravity like that? Beautiful bookshelf, nice decor. But you just kind of nailed the point that I try to bring up to people all the time, who, for understandable reasons, they're working. Not everybody's got the time to go take a world journey. But when I was an agent, we traveled around the world because the president traveled, and I was a protective agent with the detail. And we see the glories of the United States every day, and it's kind of like walking in your house and you have this beautiful painting, right, that you love when you bought it. And it's the same painting. But when you see it every day, Jason, you know, it's not that it's not beautiful, it becomes part of the scenery. And then someone comes into your house and is like, wow, what a beautiful painting. And you all of a sudden, boom, it wakes you up. And I think you, now living here, which is fantastic, it's great to know, you're seeing it and you're reminding us all, like, gosh, we're really lucky to be part of the fabric of this amazing country.
You know, in general, living in that you tend to see people who actually really love America. But being here for certain amount of years, I have seen it dissipate and disappear. However, it's not as bad as self-loathing Democrats. I mean, you can literally see them, they hate the country, and they don't know what they've got, and that cancer is just eroding and getting bigger and spread. But this is a beautiful country, full of freedom. I mean, what President Donald Trump is doing for the white South Africans is like, got first draft if I can talk like that now because I've been here long enough. He can choose from engineers and doctors and bring them all over. But anything President Donald Trump does, whether he cures Ebola or cancer, they will go and say, oh, it's horrible, yay, Ebola, come on, let's go Ebola.
And I think a lot of people will connect those two things.
The same with the asylum cases. You've got people like myself who came here fleeing persecution, where my cousin got shot through the back of the head, burned with a brick, thrown in a fire, urinated on, and told that, you know, your white bastards must die. Your children have to watch this. Those are the type of things other people have to live with. We don't have to live with that in America. And those are the things that's why I make a video of a bench, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's nobody being raped on this bench. And it's so cool. And it's just the safety and the beauty of America that's overwhelming.
Yeah, amen, brother. I mean, your videos have gone viral, I think, for that exact reason. I mean, with the 250th anniversary of the United States, you know, we haven't been around for the longest period of time in the United States. 250 years, actually, with nation states is not that long. Oh, but what we don't have in length of time of existence, we do have, Jason, and I think what you'd acknowledge as well, and now proud to be living here too, is an unbelievable story. You know, there is no way the United States should have beat the British Army in the Revolution. There just isn't. You look at it on paper, what were we, 10,000 to 1 odds? I mean, if it was a betting line, nobody wins that bet. Then again, the War of 1812, we're getting our butts kicked. We wind up with the Battle of New Orleans. We go through this brutal, savage civil war. I mean, 20,000 casualties in one day in Antietam and in Shiloh, and then 50,000 over the Battle of Gettysburg. Brother on brother, the whole country divided. We go through World War I, World War II, you know, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq. We make it through all this, and not only do we make it through, it was a big struggle and a lot of sacrifice, but we're the most powerful military and economy and the most loving and caring, and we still take people in the right way from around the world. The story, not the time of existence, I think is what makes that flag behind me special.
Man, and the American flag is a beacon of hope for millions and millions of people around the world. And each and every American needs to know that, because what you stand for is freedom, and it's like the last front of freedom. This is it. There is nowhere else to go. As a white person that's from South Africa, I know that. You can't go to Australia, you can't go to Canada, you can't go to New Zealand anymore, you can't go to Mexico. Well, it used to be called Europe, I mean, those are Islamic countries now. So America is a beacon of hope for people like myself. And if you want to see what a DEI project failure looks like, go look at South Africa. Because if we carry on not defending our beautiful freedoms here in America, we are going to look like South Africa. That's why the leftist media tries to hide what's happening there. If DEI doesn't work, it's a disaster. It's a suicidal, empty poster child in South Africa.
Yeah, it's so sad, Jason. This whole just primitive, ridiculous, and dopey idea, you know, that people should be categorized according to immutable characteristics they had no control over. Your skin color, the melanin, you didn't choose that. It's just how you were born. It's nothing to do at all. Melanin or lack of melanin with who you are, zero. And I call me crazy, but I don't understand how, like, we fought this whole civil rights revolution, the Civil War, we battled against Jim Crow. The whole Republican Party was founded on the idea of freedom, unalienable rights for everyone. Blood was...
I feel like I've heard it, but I don't know what it is. It's like where a society is allowed to think inside of, but it's on like an axis of like conservative, liberal, should we do freedom or more security, kind of thing. And what they would do is just kind of, if they did extreme stuff often enough, it just keeps moving that window of what's allowed. And it wasn't left or right people. I don't think it was a left versus right thing. I think it was elites, and I don't mean just like the elites we hear about on social media, but I think it was people of extreme wealth saying we need to stay in power, or our ideas need to stay powerful. And one of the things I tell people all the time is, if someone needs to be suppressed for an idea to flourish, it's a horrible idea.
His concerns about traditional media being able to suppress ideas led him to start Station 1. It's an independent news outlet meant to resemble the format of mainstream news while taking a different approach to reporting.
This is our lobby, kind of waiting room. Our office is right back here where we kind of go through scripts and what we're going to do for the day.
How'd you come up with the name Station 1?
I wanted to call it Channel Zero, but it was taken by some Canadian company. And this is kind of our little sit and chat area up here. And I wanted to have little spaces in here where the news anchors could sit and go through the script and things like that. So this is our main news area here. So this is just a backdrop, and we'll change this every week. So this is Singapore. So we're talking about shipping and oil production and all that kind of stuff. So we had Singapore as our backdrop this week.
Printed, not projected, right?
Yeah, printed. Okay. And then over here, just regular background for, I have no idea actually what that's for. But this is our news desk. So we have a daily news show, and the anchor will be here. It's going to look like mainstream news, except we go into the psyops of everything. We go through the news, we show how it's all connected, all the little connective tissue that they say there's 3 separate stories that are actually one big story. And then we show psyops, like here's how it's being presented to you, here's how you are being made to feel about it. Yeah. Because nobody ever talks about that. But we show all the connective tissue, we bring the receipts for everything, and we say, and for every single episode that we have, it ends with what to look for in the next 72 hours. So we'll say, like, if a bill gets pushed through Congress at 2 a.m. and it has these 4 words in it, you need to look out for that. And look out for these words in a new agreement from Turkey, or oil prices going up and insurance on oil going down. All these little metrics that might be able to predict what's really going on that the news is not reporting.
Chase believes that, though the sources of media manipulation can vary, there are foreign adversaries who are incentivized to divide the American public.
Have you read, I think it's called Unrestricted Warfare. Mm-hmm. It's a translated document written by 2 Chinese nationals who were in the intelligence field. And they have a hypothetical country that really looked like the United States in there. And it says, how do we win this asymmetrical war against, we can't win military on military. They can't win a war against us with that. So how do we do that? So they laid out a plan in this Unrestricted Warfare book, and I'm sure it's on Amazon or something, but what they say is we need to subvert their ideologies as much as possible. So there's like splinter the ideologies to where there's multiple factions, and then use just tons of tribal language and make them start fighting each other, like left versus right, tax the rich versus poor, like every single bracket that we can splinter and divide was the 2 main things. And it's just, man, it's playing out. I don't know, I'm not saying China's involved with all this stuff, but what they wrote in this book is just playing out, and it's terrifying that if you're on the right and you log into social media, you're going to see the dumbest idiots on the other side possible that you could ever be shown. If you're on the left, it's exactly the same. You're going to see the dumbest morons that they could ever find, just so you have the one idea of all of them are crazy. All of them are dangerous. And like if you go to Target right now, and you see somebody that didn't vote the same way as you, you've got like 90% of what you believe about life, you share in common with those people. Yeah, if not more. We want our kids to be safe. We want to pay less taxes. We don't trust the government. We want our kids to grow up in a good, safe place. We want our kids' schools to be good. We have so much in common. way more in common than the people that are making this kind of stuff happen. How much of so you hear a lot of people talk about the algorithm. I think a lot of the algorithm is media or the news. It's an attention capturing portal, essentially, is what they're trying to do. Yeah. I mean, there is an aspect of it where people are being shown more of what they engage with. And maybe there is somebody twiddling their mustache. Maybe Zuckerberg sits in his office and just tries to think of the best ways to manipulate people possible, for sure. I don't know how probable that is that he would be directly involved in that. Maybe he's built something that's so big that it's uncontrollable and is largely managed by AI at this point. Possible. I have no idea how probable. But I also think people point to often the algorithm or say it's not in their control because they want to remove the agency they have with interfacing with these devices as well too. Yeah. Because I've heard Joe talk about it, like, for a month, just look up puppy videos on your YouTube and see what happens. Or I did it one time with aviation related stuff. And the things you are shown or served certainly do change along with that. Yeah. So maybe it's a mix of all those things. Maybe there are a bunch of evil henchmen up there that are trying to control everybody. I don't have any answers for it for sure. But I also don't want to remove people's hand on the steering wheel either, or let them think that it's outside of their control, because they have the active role in this as well too. Yeah.
If Putin gives the order. So that's coming amidst that backdrop, by the way. So obviously, this is becoming very, very ominous. And it sounds like Zelensky is fed up with Lukashenko helping out the Putin regime. So obviously, a very big change. And believe it or not, it actually gets worse than that. And moving into our next post here, this one goes to War Translated. And now we've seen that Belarus has started officially threatening Ukraine directly, saying that it reserves the right to take measures against Ukraine to protect its citizens after a bus incident in the Bryansk region. And also, by the way, just to make this clear, the bus incident they're referring to in the Bryansk region, it's not even clear if Ukraine attacked that bus. It's believed to be that's another version of Russian propaganda to do a false flag to drag Belarus into the situation. Also, by the way, Bryansk is not even Belarusian territory, that's Russian territory. So there's a whole bunch of problems with this allegation that Belarus is putting out there, to say the least. Literally a plethora of issues with that story. So obviously it looks like Russian propaganda. But now we're seeing that apparently Belarus is saying it's going to take action itself against Ukraine preemptively over that situation. So I would say at this point it's looking very likely that Belarus and Ukraine are going to have some sort of confrontation very, very soon. And it looks like it could happen within the week if Belarus does not withdraw that equipment. And I doubt they will. So I think Ukraine might end up doing attacks inside of Belarus over the situation. And it sounds like the order's already been given. Zelensky's saying 1 week. That's what he's currently saying right now, according to reports. So, in 1 week, apparently the attacks will start and commence that we're hearing about in these posts. But moving on from this major story right here, and obviously we're keeping a sharp eye on that one. The Belarus situation is very volatile right now. But moving into our next major story, this one goes to War Translated yet again, and you might be able to tell by looking at this. Right now, Moscow's under yet another major assault, by the way. This is the third major assault on Moscow in just the last couple of days. And as you can see, this is a very big one. This is over 320 attack drones heading toward the Moscow region, as you can see right here in the map. And this is a very serious threat right here. In fact, we've already gotten videos showing the Russians panicking and yet again freaking out less than 10 miles away from the Kremlin, trying to shoot down the incoming Ukrainian drones. So obviously very dire this morning. And moving into our next one here, we have some more details from woofers. We can see that Russian air defenses were activated in the Moscow Oblast, according to all the Russian back channels, and they're claiming that the air defense was working, but we have some video proving otherwise. And obviously, we had an absolute footage fest last night on the stream showing all the Russian air defense failures inside the capital city, and it's happening yet again today. So I legitimately have no idea how Putin is going to stave off these attacks in the future. I have no idea how he's going to do that, because if the air defense in the huge numbers they have in Moscow already is already failing, that's not a good sign. But moving into our next post here, this one also goes to War Translated. because it seems Ukraine has a little surprise up their sleeve today, and also during yesterday's attack as well, of a brand new drone they're currently using on the Moscow region for the first time, and it is the Maroc drone. And the reason why this is a very big deal is because this drone right here is a high-speed drone. Now, granted, it's not jet-powered. We do have a video of a jet-powered drone coming up that's also being used in Moscow today, but the Maroc is a high-speed propeller-driven drone that goes about 300 kilometers per hour, which is very fast. Also has an 800-kilometer range and a 30-kilogram warhead on board, and we have a video of it going in. And in fact, this appears to be from yesterday's attack on the oil facility that we saw. It appears to show that. But let's take a look at the video and see the Maroc being used, not just yesterday in the footage, but also today as well. Let's take a look.
When surgery becomes part of your journey, you want the best of both worlds. The expertise of a big hospital and the heart of a close-knit community. Maine General Medical Center. We're with you. Contract data is buried in inboxes, shared drives, disconnected systems. That's where Agiloft comes in. Agiloft transforms contract data into business intelligence.
And then we have needs.
And here comes the drone right here on the camera. There it is.
Everything that you might need from other people, your connection to other people, everything that you value when it comes
and wow, that thing,
to the middle of now.
There it goes.
Love and connection, feeling like you belong somewhere, your tribal relationships. And if I can
and there goes a Russian manpad right there. Look at that.
Obviously some kind of different. And then finally,
oh, and there it is. There's the depot, by the way. That's the famous clip right there of the top of that oil tank coming off. That was the Maroc flying over right as the Russians were trying to shoot that down. As you can see, the Russians clearly failed at that. They did not shoot it down, and it went onto its target further away in Moscow. So clearly very hard to shoot down, and that was the infamous clip right there showing the top of the oil tank popping off as well in the midst of that. But moving into our next post here, this one's going to go to Tendar, and we've also gotten another view of a different type of jet drone, possibly the Bars drone that Ukraine also manufactures, also heading into Moscow, apparently near a whole series of cranes at a construction site. So let's take a look at our first video and see what we can determine out of this attack and see the drone itself. Let's take a look at this one. And this is literally perfect. Look, there's a propeller drone back there on the left, and there's that missile drone right there in the front. Look how much faster that's going than the propeller drone. This is literally perfect for reference, by the way. But there's the thing. Look at it. It's flying like a cruise missile, basically. It looks like the propeller drone hit that crane right there, it looks like. And also, the missile drone just went straight onto its target. So, literally, here it is again. You can see the missile drone going a lot faster than that propeller drone. And it's very interesting, by the way, because I would call this a hybrid weapon. It's basically like a cruise missile mixed with a drone. It's a very strange type of weapon, but it's also very inexpensive compared to a normal cruise missile. So we believe to be that's the Mars cruise, or cruise drone as you could call it. But that's what we believe that is right there. But as you can see, the Russians definitely can't get that one. It's moving too fast. But moving into our next post here, this one's also going to go to Jay and Kiev. And you wouldn't believe it, but again, and once more in this attack that we just saw this morning on Moscow, the Russians have once again deployed their mobile fire groups, like, you know, basically like thugs jumping out of a white van basically on the side of the highway. And they're now jumping out with manpad missile launchers yet again today, and they're firing just really rogue missiles all over the city. And also, plot twist, it's really not hitting the drones. It's going and hitting their fuel storage tanks, it's hitting the civilians, it's hitting everything but the drones. So let's take a look at this video. Apparently, the Russian forces are right out here in a active highway, by the way, firing manpad missiles off right in front of civilians yet again. So let's take a look. So there's the drone, there's machine gun fire.
This is a threat to our way of life.
See the guy filming this fire that's already happening out here. There goes another one right there.
Then people might
this dude over there, there's a manpad.
If I say Andy and I are at war.
And it looks like it missed. That's not shocking either, by the way. There's somebody hiding behind a pole right there. But look at this, just chaos out here. This dude's firing a manpad from literally the side of an active highway. You can see a whole bunch of civilians. They're even driving by in the video that we saw like yesterday. So just completely reckless by the Russians yet again. Also, this has not indicated a coordinated response, by the way. This indicates complete chaos. They don't really have good training. And we believe these might be the Categorites, actually. So that might also explain why things are going sideways as well, because they screw everything up. So moving on from this though, and that crazy reckless stuff happening there in Moscow, our next one also goes to Tendar yet again, We've also seen that Putin is now ordering even more air defense systems into Moscow, despite the hundreds that are already there as we speak. And they're now scrambling more air defenses into the area, and obviously, now it's just simply a waiting game. Eventually, Russia's going to run out of interceptor missiles. That's just obvious at this point. They've got too much air defense there. They're spending way too much of their ammunition on just Moscow alone, and they're leaving the rest of the country of Russia completely wide open while they're trying to protect just the area of Moscow. So let's take a look. We have a view here of apparently one of these missile-based systems in a parking garage or on top of a bridge. Let's take a look. And there you can see it. That appears to be, I'm not sure if that's a Panzer or what type of Russian air defense that is, but it appears to be some sort of air defense system up there. I can't really identify it, but it's sitting up there. It's obviously got its radar turned on. It's trying to detect incoming drones. It looks like it's sitting on top of maybe a bridge. It looks like they're constructing a bridge as well next to it. So they got it just sitting up there in the middle. I guess they can move that thing around to try to, keep it active, I guess. But that's what's happening right now. Putin's ordering even more air defenses brought to the region, and I don't think the number of air defense systems are going to help. I think the training's the issue at this point. But moving into our next one, this one's going to go to next. We've also gotten some serious cope from the Russian government. The Russian government's clearly having a very hard time defending their capital city, and now the Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, aka the Rat, is now urging Russians not to dwell on the videos of the strikes in Moscow. I'm not making that up, by the way. That's apparently, or at least allegedly, what he's saying currently. Instead, he suggested they watch the impressive footage of the aftermath of the Russian attacks on Ukrainian cities, which, by the way, shows civilians getting attacked, so I'm not sure how impressive that would be, unless maybe a country is a bunch of possibly war criminals, allegedly. But this is what's going on right now. They're clearly coping, as you can see right here. So, what can you even say about this? I mean, they're literally telling people not to watch the videos of the Capitol getting hit, just to avoid the trouble from it. So that's insane, to say the least. But moving on from the world-class cope, we're moving into our next post here, which goes to Max 26. We've also seen that as a result of this morning's attack on Moscow, that over 130 flights are delayed at Moscow airports across the entire region. 59 planes are unable to land or depart at Sheremetyevo Airport, and also there's several more at Domodedovo and Vnukovo that also cannot take off either or land at the airports. So we believe that the Russians have implemented what's known as the carpet plan, meaning they've grounded all the flights in the area. They're not letting any of them land because obviously they're running into a drone. So that appears to be what's going on right now. And not to mention, by the way, all the previous cancellations that were already taking place at the Moscow airports because they're running out of jet fuel in the process. All these attacks on Moscow, by the way, are completely taking the focus away from the fact that Russia is literally out of gasoline. They're trying to get it from Asia because they're completely out, and they literally can't even operate most of their aircraft right now because of that reason. So I would say the tide has definitely changed. It went from, Ukraine might be losing the war, now it's gone to, it looks like Russia's about to completely collapse and fall apart like a pound of bricks at this point. So, what can you say about this? It looks like Moscow's struggling. But moving into our next one, this one goes to OSINT Technical. We've also seen that in the midst of the fire and the oil rain inside of Moscow, that apparently now the toxic firefighting foam is now falling down onto civilians as well to add a mixture of cancer rain, as they call it, to the capital. Now, obviously, this is not very good because this is literally toxins galore between the oil raining down on civilians and also now this firefighting foam as well. It's literally unsafe to even come outside in Moscow right now. It's literally dangerous for your health. So let's take a look at the video and let's see what's happening. So as you can see right there, that is not snow. That is firefighting foam coming from the area of the Moscow refinery that we believe it's coming from. And it literally looks like it's snowing, but it's not snowing. Also, that smoke you see up there, that's oil in those clouds right there. So literally a bad mixture of really bad things that you really don't want to breathe in for the most part. But it looks like some of the Russians are still outside, like the cameraman here, and they're still floating around in the midst of this winter hellscape, as you'd call it. I guess that's the better way to put it. But moving on from this right here, that horror scene, and moving into our next one, this one goes to Jay in Kyiv. We're also seeing that in the midst of the panic, the Moscow authorities authorities are trying to tamp down the panic amongst the civilians, and they're bringing in these concrete boxes that are being called shelters, they're calling them, and these are temporary shelters to try to put civilians in it, so that way they can shelter from the drone attacks. As you can see right here, they are letting them off of the back of trucks, they're putting them on the side of the highways, and I'm not sure if this is mainly protecting against the Ukrainian drone attacks, or maybe this is about getting away from the Russian lunatic forces that are firing man-pads right from the highways. Either way you want to put it, this is somewhere for the Russians to hide from the trouble, basically. So that's what they're doing right now. It seems kind of a little bit desperate and also a little bit cheap. But moving into our next one here, this one goes to Fine Tux News. And are y'all ready for this? We got some Iran developments today that might knock your socks off, to say the least. We have some shocking developments with the Iran situation, and you wouldn't believe what's happened right now. Apparently, the Iranians have now closed the Strait of Hormuz, despite the Memorandum of Understanding opening the Strait of Hormuz and also ending the U.S. blockade. Apparently, believe it or not, I am completely shocked and blown away that Iran has not upheld their end of the bargain. It looks like Iran is also now firing warning shots at ships trying to pass the area, and the Iranians are saying they closed it because of the Israeli action inside of Lebanon. So that is what's being reported right now. We're even getting radio calls being sent out to ships from the IRGC on the coast telling these ships to turn away and get back or they might get fired on. And we have that coming up here in just a second of that radio recording. But this is a big shocking development right here. And they also, just to let you know up front, the U.S. officials are having a complete meltdown today about this. They are blown away that this IRGC regime would somehow back out of the agreement. They're blown away by this. So let's move into our next article here and cover the rest of it. And this one also goes to Fine Tux News. And right here you see this is the transcript of the alleged radio call that was being sent out in the Strait of Hormuz by the IRGC forces. They said that since Israel's withdrawal from Lebanon and the complete lifting of the naval blockade and the withdrawal of American forces from the Persian Gulf and the region are among the main conditions of the agreement between the Iran and the United States, the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until these two conditions are met. All ships are ordered not to approach the Strait of Hormuz for their own safety and health, and any vessel that defies the order will be targeted. Now, I was going to play the radio recording, but it's actually in Farsi, it sounds like, so unfortunately most of us are not going to be able to understand what's being said there. But according to Iranian speakers, this is allegedly what's being said right here in this transcript. So that's not good. It looks like the Iranians are completely collapsing the peace deal talks and also the MOU that was already signed by U.S. and American officials because of the situation in Israel and Lebanon. So, you know, of course, Israel was defending itself from the proxy forces there, and now apparently, according to Iran, they will not even let Israel defend itself against the rocket attacks on their northern territory. So this isn't going well, folks. This is not going good whatsoever, and it seems to me that our analysis that it was a really bad idea to make an agreement with Iran is coming true, and unfortunately that was easy to see from about 10 miles away, but the U.S. didn't really see that. So moving into our next one here, this one goes to Fine Tux News yet again, and it looks like Iran's foreign ministry has now put out their terms of secondary surrender to the United States of what they're demanding, or otherwise they're going to put the hurt on the United States forces. And what Iran is currently demanding right now is they want a permanent end to the war in Lebanon. So they're expecting the United States to force Israel not to defend itself, which is obviously unrealistic to say the least. They're also demanding the complete lifting of the U.S. blockade, which, by the way, has already been lifted, and CENTCOM said that yesterday, so I'm not sure what they're talking about there. They're also saying that the U.S. should issue waivers for Iranian oil, which I also thought was already done, by the way. The U.S. already did that. And also, they want Iran's frozen assets released. So, you know, I'm not really sure if Iran's making some of this up. Now, the one thing they're not making up is the war in Lebanon. That is actually still going on, and Israel just launched a brand new ground operation into the area of Nabatea inside of Lebanon just less than 24 hours ago. But of course, in my opinion, it's in defense of Israel. That's what it looks like to me. It was in response to the attacks, the rocket attacks on Israeli territory. So this is what Iran's claiming right here. So clearly, it's not going to be working out well. I think most of us can probably see that have a good brain on our shoulders. But moving on to our next post here, this one's going to go to none other than Fine Tux News yet again, and also a huge shout out to Fine Tux, by the way. But right now, we're seeing a brand new post from the president, and it does appear that he is in meltdown mode as of this morning about the situation with Iran. So he put out two different posts very shortly apart from one another, and the one right here, the first one, appeared to say, "We did not meet out of desperation. Iran did. They are finished and will play out the 60 days, and they get no money and not 10 cents. So it appears to be that he's saying that they're not going to release any of the funds to Iran that was in the MOU, so that's a big change right there. And then shortly afterward, he said that the war has diminished diminished Iran. It doesn't any longer have an air force, a navy, anti-aircraft equipment, radar, or practically anything else. And yet, somebody else, of course, has to get political. They say that Iran is now better off than it was 4 months ago. And can you imagine getting away with that? How stupid can some people be? So clearly, the president's once again in meltdown mode. It seems to be actually becoming sort of commonplace these days. But he's clearly upset with what's happening with the Iran deal falling apart. I would say that's obvious out of those posts right there. And also, to make matters worse, in our last post here, which goes to open source intel, it does appear that the attacks inside of Lebanon by the Israeli forces is starting to become very much more serious. We're seeing that apparently non-stop rocket attacks are taking place on IDF troops, and also not only that, but Israel's also launching very large attacks with missiles into the area of Nabatea and the area of southern Lebanon. So that situation's ramping up, as you can see right here in this picture, and that situation is not going to be ramping down anytime soon. So I would say, in my personal assessment, it's fair to say that the talks are over with and the MOU is largely useless at this point. And it does appear that we called that about 24 hours to 48 hours ago, that it looked like Iran was going to sabotage it, and I would say they have effectively done that as of today. Well, with that, folks, that is actually our last post of the video. So if you found today's video informative, please smack that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well if you already haven't, and get notified of our daily uploads just like this one, and also our nightly War News streams at 10 p.m. Eastern. And also, before you go, if you want to support the channel financially, because we are largely crowdfunded by the viewers, we don't run sponsors on our live streams, and we don't run sponsors really very often at all on our videos. It's been a very long time since we've done that. And you can go over to our Patreon page and check that out, and I'll put the link below for the Patreon page, where you could sign up for a $5 or even $10 a month membership, or whatever amount you would like, by the way, over there on Patreon, and that does help keep our channel running day in and day out, and we do appreciate that very much. But with that, we will see you all tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on the next Night of the War News stream, and with that, bye-bye for now.
The spouse might mean it, but
Grainger offers professional-grade products, easy reordering online, and 24/7 support, helping procurement managers keep buildings running